Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. Have you married your love, your fiance, and immigration doesn't believe it's real, and they're claiming that it's a fraudulent marriage? Well, there are things that you need to be on the lookout, and there are ways of documenting what needs to be done in order to try to pass the immigration interview. First, let it be said that when you walk in the door, before you even open your mouth or say a word, the officer thinks you're lying. Okay, they are predisposed the moment you walk in the door to think that the marriage is fraudulent. So, given that, you have to start with that understanding so that you will see the amount of evidence and the type of persuasion that needs to be done in order to proceed forward. Now, I've had cases where, after the fact, that people will come to me, they'll let me know that they had separate interviews, and one said that they had a different color toothbrush, or they said that they, mentioned some different place that they went on vacation 3 years earlier. I mean, these are normal things that somebody can realistically forget. I bet you, of all the people watching this video right now, a certain percentage of you do not know the real color of the toothbrush of your spouse that they use when they brush their teeth. Okay, um, and so immigration tries to take whatever they can latch onto in some instances in order to say, "Oh, this marriage is fraudulent. It's not bona fide. We're going to deny it." When in fact, it's just normal memory loss, or something dealing with that this situation is involved in, and it has nothing to do with the bona fides of the marriage. So before you go into the interview, you have to have properly documented your case. Now, what does a bona fide marriage mean? Well, some people think it means that they just get married and then they put both their names on an account that they never really pass money through. They get both their names on a lease of which one may or may not live there. And they do all the checked box things to make it look like a real marriage. But that's not a bona fide marriage, okay? A bona fide marriage is one, the bottom line is, it's one where two people get married for love, not for one of them to get the green card. One of them getting the green card may be the effect of a bona fide marriage and may be the effect of the petition, but that's not the reason they're getting married. So there has to be a line of evidence that shows why the marriage is bona fide. Okay, now obviously, if both of you were U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents, this doesn't matter. But if one of you is not, you have to fall under U.S. immigration law and you have to prove that the marriage is bona fide. Now, likewise, some people will take 10,000 pictures prior to getting married, and that's all they'll submit in order to show it's bona fide. And immigration will think the only reason you took all those pictures is to make it look bona fide. So when I get consultations, a lot of times what they do is they will say, "Can I have a list of documents that I need in order to win my case?" And my answer is always the same. It differs. Every case is different. While there are similarities and while there's a generalized list, the real petition that goes forward will be specific as to the person who is applying. So the bona fides of a marriage uh, go into what has occurred before you get married. It doesn't really happen after. Now, certainly there are facts that would indicate one way or another whether it was bona fide or not afterwards, but the biggest test is look to see what happened before. So, how long did the people know each other before they got married? What type of communications did they have with each other? Where are those communications? What is the age difference between both of the people? Now, keeping in mind that while a big age difference is a red flag of a marriage that is not bona fide, you certainly can prove otherwise. I had a case in the past. The biggest age difference I've ever had approved was 60 years. Believe it or not, that's 60, where one spouse was that much older than the other. So it can be proven. It just needs a lot of evidence. Okay, and again, if you start from the premise they don't believe anything you're going to say when you walk in the door, then it makes it easier to prove because you're not proving from a point where you're just trying to be chummy with the officer. You're proving it from a very adversarial person who doesn't believe you when you walk in. So the bona fides of the marriage look at all these different factors that occurred before. Okay? Obviously, big red flags are you found the person and you got married 4 days later, or your status just expired on something else and then you just got married. Or you find that you're in a criminal situation and you're going to have criminal court and then you just got married. So there are other factors in life that you think immigration will never know about, that immigration will not put two and two together, but they do. Okay, I mean they see this day in and day out. Whatever tricks you think you have up your sleeve, it won't work with immigration. Okay, you have to respect that. And so when I put together a bona fide marriage petition to show that the marriage is not fraudulent, there are declarations, affidavits, supporting evidence such as photos, Skype messages, Facebook messages, which, by the way, the officer may or may not jump on your Facebook page and your social media. And if they see anything contradictory to whatever it is you're telling them, your case is going to be denied. So, one thing, you don't want to say anything adverse to your attempt to show it's a bona fide marriage on your Facebook page. Okay, I mean, I can exaggerate and say, well, you sent a message on Facebook page saying, hey, I found a sucker that's going to marry me and I'm going to pay that person $6,000 and then 3 months from now I'm going to be free and have the green card in my hand. Okay, I exaggerate with that, but believe it or not, there are messages within that ambit of culpability that do exist. Okay, so you need to maintain a reasonably clean social media so that none of that happens. Okay, now once the marriage petition is done, if even with all this evidence, if it's denied, then there are ways of appealing or doing motions to reopen. There are ways of presenting evidence in a manner that makes it more persuasive. So, let's say you tried this all on your own and, it got denied. When you have an experienced immigration attorney look at everything that was done, then it could change everything. Okay. I can't tell you how many people say, well, I've done everything that needs to be done, and they still denied it. I go, well, did you have an immigration attorney represent you? And they go, no, I didn't need one. And sure enough, I look at what was submitted, and it was far below the standard that is necessary in order to prove a bona fide marriage. Okay, so there are different things that can be done, whether or not you're trying to prove it at the beginning, whether or not you're trying to appeal after or do a motion to reopen, or even years later, there's things that can be done in regards to a ruling of marriage fraud. So don't give up, no matter what stage you happen to be in. Okay.